Welcome to Fitch Painting Repairs Garage. Today's project, continuing on with the 99 Drifter. So we're just going through and cleaning things up on this thing, double checking everything. Spider heaven, man, they're all up in there. But yeah, I verified she's got a power commander. We check, make sure she's all hooked up right and all that. But motor seems to run pretty good. It's got a good lope to it. Runs. It's just that second gear, she's popping out, so she's most likely got a bent shift fork inside. So everything's got to come apart and just got to come off the bike. Split the lower cases and find the replacement gears. As far as I'm finding information on this, this engine in '99, being the first generation fuel injection on the bikes. Beforehand, they were carbureted. The Drifter, I guess, was the first one they done it on. So you can correct me if I'm wrong and update me with that information. I'd appreciate that, because I'm looking for the gear set, and I'm finding that I can't get new old stock. Places are out of it, but I did catch a piece of information off of a chat forum I have yet to verify, that the gear set is the same as the newer bikes, the 1500s, the newer ones. They just changed the part numbers for the gear sets. So if you go for the part number that's for this bike, you're going to find, most likely you're not going to be able to find new old stock anywhere. But this one is a 2007. I believe that's the first year they went to the to the 1600 version of this. Before, I believe it was before they went to the belt drive. So they went up to a 1600 the same year, but this one is a 1500. So they had both available. It was just old leftovers and whatnot, you know. So the gear set, though, and the transmission, as far as I'm understanding, according to this post in the forum I was reading, that they're the same gear. They changed the part number. So hopefully I can get brand new gears. I'm hoping the gears are actually good, and it's just the shift fork. And if that's the case, I should be able to buy even a used set of forks. Find a new set. You know, if I can find a new set, if I can find a aftermarket set, whatever, you know. But I'm going to go through the bike first before I tear the motor down, verify everything else on the bike works, go through all the electronics on the bike, make sure all the electronics are working on the bike, and just go through and verify all the systems. I want to verify the cooling systems holding pressure, that I don't have an overheating issue, you know, all that kind of stuff. So the bike's gonna have to be ridden a little bit. I'm gonna have to idle it for a while. So we'll pick a weekend day. You know, we're having issues with the neighbors over here, you know, and noise complaints with actually I've got the noise complaint with them playing their bass music all day, but I think that stems from the fact that I working on the bikes. So Fitch Painting and Repair is gonna be looking at moving here pretty soon. But anyways, back to the bike. We're going to run the bike, verify all the systems are working on the bike, and then we'll start disassembly. And we'll take it apart, we'll clean it, restore it, rebuild the motor, the transmission in it. You know, the motor doesn't sound like it needs to be rebuilt. The mileage on the bike, I think that was 46 and change is what she is. Something like that. It's hard to read. There she is. 46 and change. So, you know, the bike sounds good. Runs good. Go through and check the rear differential. I've heard some stories about this gear bearing set in here. It's called the bevel gear, and basically it's just like a differential gear. converts the engine rotational, you know, from this motion to this motion, you know, for the drive shaft component. So this gear and bearing set in here, I heard, goes bad, and you get in play movement, and it can walk out and hit the inside of this housing, cause problems. So I need to test ride the bike and verify all that stuff, you know, just kind of test ride situation. So we'll do some low speed test rides around the neighborhood, just kind of putting around. Second gear is definitely not working. It won't hold under load. Under decel, it'll hold. So it's shifting into second. It's just not holding under load. So there's definitely an issue with the alignment, bent shift fork, gear engagement. You know, so if the gears aren't engaging properly, we're gonna have to go through and change them all. We'll pull them apart, do a complete visual inspection, mic them, check them, change any bearings, any seals, or anything on the interior of it, and reassemble it. And she'll be nice and clean, repaired, and ready for sale. If I don't enjoy riding it myself and keeping it for the price I paid for the bike, you know, it could be turned into something fun. You know, but you know, the transmission's an issue, so you know, we'll see what the future holds. You never know. It's a cool looking bike. You know, I like the Vulcan engines. You know, the wife's bike has been maintenance free, but there's one big difference in it. That bike has been ridden sensibly by a good, well seasoned rider and maintained by yours truly. Not much has been done to that, but batteries, oil changes, tires, brakes, the usual fluids, you know, brake fluids, antifreeze, oil. So, you know, as long as you don't beat the hell out of them, man, they really hold up. This one sounds good. No major issues, no major sounds. I'm not hearing anything in the valves, and nothing in the lower end. Everything seems to be working. I took it for one little ride around the neighborhood. The front tire was down to 19 psi, you know, and the front forks feel real spongy. So we're gonna have to change the fluid in the forks and rebuild them. It definitely is riding low. Look at you can hardly see any of the flare outs of the you know, of this, and you can't see any of the dust cover area of the seal, like on the wife's bike sitting. You know, but this one's sitting on the rack and it's compressed slightly. So, but they're definitely spongy. So, and the front brake's still dragging. So, that's what we're going to work on first. We're going to go ahead and pull the brake system apart on the front. The rear brake doesn't seem to be sticking at all. So for this quick test ride, we'll just pull the front caliper off, verify the brakes, bleed out the fluid in it real quick, and then we're just going to test it by riding it around the neighborhood a little bit. So no real high speeds. I should be able to shift right into fifth gear on a couple of these little back streets over here, as long as I'm going slow. I just want to verify that she's you know, working. So that's the plan, and then she'll get torn down. Stay tuned.